Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. This will be for October 14th. I am recording this earlier in the week. So you're going to be seeing this the day after the January 6th committee has its televised hearing. And part of what I'm wanting to look into is how Trump's doing and how he's reacting. So, he's losing lawyers. He's trying to exchange stolen documents with the government for documents that aren't his anyways. Um, and I think that the hearing on Thursday probably is going to unhinge him again. So I want to take a look at him. I also want to take a look at Putin. There was that bridge that was blown up over the weekend that cut off it was the bridge that connected the Russian mainland to Crimea, and that has suffered significant damage. And apparently, it was supposed to be impenetrable. It was another Titanic. Nothing could happen to it until it did. And so now he's saying, "Well, you took out my bridge. Now I'm attacking." So, it was on, I guess, Monday, where he hit a bunch of Ukrainian cities, including residential areas, and that always gets everybody so upset because that's just so far, outside the realm of sort of acceptable warfare, even though it's a completely unprovoked war, an illegal one, basically. All right. So, having said all of that, so I want to check into the unhinged. I'm going to take a look at Trump and I'm going to take a look at Putin and see what's going on in both of their respective worlds. All righty, let's start closer to home. Let's take a look at Trump first. I want to know how he's going to be doing from Friday the 14th or Thursday the 13th, going forward for a week or two. What does this look like for Trump? What's going on with him? There's going to be another significant leak this week, so you will have already heard about it as I'm recording this, but it feels like there's going to be another really, another piece of information coming out that really, really doesn't put him in a good light. Although, honestly, nothing puts him in a good light these days. I mean, it's just bad news to worse. All right. And I'm aware of the fact that the 11th Circuit has issued, I think it's the 11th Circuit that has issued sort of a timeline in terms of their appeal. So, interesting. Oh my goodness, cards are flying everywhere. Hang on. Okay. I think I've got them all. Okay, here we go. Tell me about Trump. Tell me about Trump. Tell me about Trump. Okay. So we're starting off with Hangman for Trump. So this is about normally this card is sort of about seeing things from another perspective, etc. I'm almost reading it in reverse. This is about him refusing to see. Okay, he just does not want to see the reality of a situation. Even before he was elected, he had that sort of, you punch me, I'm going to punch back twice as hard. And he's always had that attitude. He's always won, frankly, with that attitude, right? Because he sort of just pushes back and pushes and pushes until people just sort of back up for him. Well, he's now playing with the big boys. He's playing with the Department of Justice. playing with the FBI. They're not going to back down. And he just doesn't want to see it. He's convinced that he can um, win this if he just pushes hard enough. Part of the reason is because, believe it or not, he actually doesn't understand how the law works. He doesn't seem to be able to distinguish between um, civil cases and federal cases. And I'm sure somebody has tried to get through to him and say, listen up, buddy, you can't just settle at the last minute when it's a federal case. These are criminal investigations. But I don't think it's actually registering. He is so determined to stick with his I'm strong strategy. And what it is doing is it is going to kill him, frankly. I mean, not literally, but it's putting him in a position where in many ways he almost cannot be saved from himself. Okay. um there's still more to come out. Oh my goodness. And I'm sure, because you're seeing this on Friday, I am sure the January 6th hearing is going to be one bombshell after another, and they really are targeting him, and as it should be. So ultimately, there are even going to be some people, not a lot, but maybe enough, who are still planning to vote Republican, who actually start pulling back and backing off a little bit as a result of this hearing. I think there's actually going to be another one or two hearings. Um, I could be wrong. It feels like in some ways that if anything, they're going to take place in later November into December. But we'll just have to see if my energetic feel is right. So, where we're at right now, as far as he is concerned, he's trying desperately to maintain that image, and it's not working. It's all falling down around him. All of the deceit, all of the lies, all of the shenanigans are all coming forward, and there's just not enough wiggle room for him to try to, he's the stories that he's going to come out with are going to be more and more outlandish, and his behavior at rallies is going to continue to be like beyond, simply beyond. This is the thing you have to remember with him is it doesn't matter how low he goes and we think there's not a possible way. There's always a possible way with him. I mean, who would have thought 2 years after an election, there would be this much attention being paid to him because he stole documents. Like, I mean, you can't even imagine, and then it's reality. And that's the thing that's going to ultimately get him judged, and it's going to ultimately get him into trouble. He cannot steal things and take things and bully people around. He still thinks he's the president. Okay, he doesn't understand that that day when he got on Air Force One for the final time, that was it. It was over. There was no more. um, he doesn't get that. Okay, he really thinks that former presidents should have almost as much power as a sitting president, which is really pathetic. I'm thinking of George Bush Sr.'s funeral when he couldn't wait to get that flag raised. In fact, he didn't even want to lower it to half mast. But I guess that only applies to him, right? Only he can be um, the one with all the power. Ultimately, it's going to be women who bring him down. He's got some female prosecutors that are going after him. He's not going to do well with those. And that's separate and aside from the, um, the Department of Justice investigation into the documents. He is going to become so defensive that he really is going to become quite erratic. Okay. He's not sleeping. It's almost like he has nightmares. It's like it's like he wakes up in a panic because he sees himself behind bars. Um, Sorry. They just gave me a picture of him sitting um, behind the, what is that? The Resolute desk, the desk that sits in the Oval Office, the presidential desk, but he's in a cage with bars all around him. I don't know that he's necessarily actually going to end up in jail, but that's literally the picture that I'm seeing is, he wants all the power. He's going to think he still has the power even if he's in a cage. And listen, just to remind you folks, okay, because of the Secret Service detail he has, they have to be with him. And it's going to be almost impossible to send him to a federal prison because the Secret Service people are literally going to have to be with him. I mean, this is an unprecedented situation. But so, trust me, it's coming to an end, and his life is going to be restricted and tied up. A lot of his secrets are going to come out. He's not going to be able to hold things. And honestly, throughout all of this, he's not going to do 1 second of soul searching. Not one. Ultimately, though, this comes to an end. His fortunes are absolutely turning against him. There is no victory in sight for him. Okay, so as the next few weeks go by, you can anticipate with him becoming more erratic. His stories and his behavior. That's what's at the bottom of the deck, Justice. His behavior becoming more and more erratic and unhinged. Really, that's the word, unhinged. It very much feels as if he's almost careening out of control. And of course, as the midterm election comes up and he really starts to realize that, yeah, some of the people he backed are going to get in. Absolutely. There's no question about it. There's a lot of them running. I mean, what is it? Something like there's more than, I think, 100 people running who are election deniers. I think there's only 1 or 2 states in the whole country that doesn't have an election denier running in this midterm election. Some of them are going to get through, okay? But it's not going to be enough, because I think with this midterm, the results of the midterm, that is where he's going to see his hope for a return to the presidency really, really, really diminishing. And I think that as we get closer to the midterms, he's just going to be out of control. And listen, he's going to be really, really out of control after the midterm. So everybody brace yourself. But I think after that, it's just going to wind down. The fury is going to wind down. And again, it's not really so much that it's going to wind down for him internally, but it very much feels like the rest of the world is going to really just say enough. We don't want to think about you anymore. Except, of course, for those 25% of people who believe that the Earth is flat and Trump won. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at Putin. Now, please, I ask you in your comment section to refrain from using his name, okay? Because as soon as the name Putin comes up, I get attacked by, like Russian bots, okay? So let's be very mindful, and we can call him Vlad. All righty? So let's just take a look. How's Vlad doing? How's Vlad doing? How's Vlad doing? Okay, stepping into his energy, it is rage. It is like an inferno. He is so angry, and he is just so filled with rage because, like the former guy, his whole deal is about power and being powerful and looking powerful. And as the weeks have gone by, he's recognizing honestly that he looks more and more foolish all the time. He looks weak, and he looks he's sort of becoming a laughing stock, even though he's so dangerous you don't dare laugh at him, okay? But this is what we have. We have Judgment is the first card and Death is the second card. Okay, so he's not going to be able to convince the Russians that they are continuing to be on the right side of history on this. The Russians are reacting very, very badly and will continue to react badly to this partial immobilization. Well, it's huge. It's 300,000 people he wants to immobilize. That's like not 20,000. I mean, that's a lot of men that they're trying to recruit into sort of mandatory service. There's also Belarus is also, they don't have, they're sort of cozying up to him a little bit. It feels like they're going to be, Putin is going to get some manpower, I think, some soldiers from Belarus, but I don't think it's going to, somehow it doesn't feel like that gels or it doesn't work out very well. Um, you know, the oligarchs have had enough. I mean, literally, they had enough months ago, okay? But it feels as if in some ways, those oligarchs are becoming more of a danger to him. It very much feels as if they are very close to saying enough already. And I don't know what they're going to do. We're not going to do. I'm just saying it doesn't look good. There is a strength and a determination, not only with Ukraine and the Ukrainian people, although they are amazing, absolutely amazing, but it's the rest of the world is really sort of getting tired of this. And one of the things that I like, ultimately, they want this shut down, okay? They want him to suffer and be punished for invading someone else's sovereign land, all right? And even as the world watches, world leaders watch, they're getting tougher and tougher and tougher, and they're becoming more resolved to ensure that this ends in a way where Ukraine really, really, kind of is the victor, okay? This trying to steal somebody else's land is really sitting wrong, and continuing to threaten it with nuclear, resort is even worse. Interestingly, you've got the Eight of Cups here, and it feels as if he really is. I don't know if he's admitting it. He's certainly not admitting it in public, but I think in the morning when he looks in the mirror, um, he realizes that this is just not going very well for him. And of course, that keeps him really, really angry. But I'm curious if this card doesn't represent sort of, I don't know, almost like he is considering some sort of I don't know that it's escape, because he honestly, he would kill himself, I believe, before he would exile himself. But it definitely feels like there's a pulling back or a loss. There's a lot of disappointment, but there's moving away from a situation on this card. And whatever it is, it looks like he's moving away with a fair bit of speed. Got the devil following that. His partnerships are not going to come to fruition. And so he really doesn't have um, a whole lot of people to share this burden with. So as we're looking at him right now, he's angry, and he's not angry. He is furious. He's not feeling well. There continues to be some sort of a health issue with him. He's not feeling well physically. And mentally, he's about as scattered as you can get, because, like, listen, this is true of everybody. When you get really, really, really angry, you can't think clearly. You don't think rationally. That's what seeing red means, right? You lose your perspective, and he is in a perpetual state of rage. And so he's not thinking clearly. He just is demanding that he gets what he wants. He wants what he wants. but it's not working for him. And there's something going on behind the scenes. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. There is something going on behind the scenes that he is not aware of. There's some stuff going on. Oops, look what follows that. You've got the Ten of Swords. So this isn't good. I'm not predicting anything, but I am definitely saying that things are not going well for him. And his erratic behavior, and it's more than erratic. It is it's so cruel. It's so malicious that he's not he's not winning anyone over. Also, interestingly, I'm being told that more truth is actually getting to the Russian people than he realizes, because of course he shut down like Facebook and Twitter and any outside critical media. But it somehow or another, the Russian people are hearing more of the truth. And you know what? They don't want to hear it. They're not happy with the situation. They want it to stop. They're losing too many people. They're losing their sons, their husbands, their brothers, and they fathers, and they want this nonsense to stop. Um, it seems to me that they are hearing about Russian soldiers who have run away, who have willingly run towards Ukraine to surrender. Okay. So they have a little bit more clarity, I think, about what's going on, perhaps even than he realizes, and they don't like it and they're not happy about it. And this is not going to turn out well for him. He's also running out of resources. Okay. He really, um, this is the thing. When he shoots off those missiles, right, they're finite. It's not like he has, a little factory of elves making up more and more and more of them. He's running out of ammunition. He's running out of soldiers. He's running out of money. Soldiers don't have food. They don't have gas, etc., etc., etc. And so things are not going well for him. And that's frankly as it should be. And he also has the world card. So things are coming to an end for him or for the situation. I said it before. I feel like it's somewhere right around the 1 year mark. Um, so by kind of the end of February, to me, it feels like that's where you're going to get some sort of resolution. Um, I do not see any of the annexed land that Russia has taken in this war. It will stay in Ukraine's hands. It will stay Ukrainian land. Crimea, I'm not sure what's going to happen there. That thing is still really up in the air. The problem is they need to get Crimea back, I'm being told, because otherwise Russia will continue to try to figure out how to access more space along that eastern coast, to offer them other options in terms of, reaching Crimea. But I'm not sure what's going to happen there. And just energetically, I'm asking, and they say, you know what, Putin is not going to have, he's not going to retain power for a lot longer. And it feels very much as if soon, not tomorrow, not next year, but soon, um, the Russian people are actually going to have an opportunity for sort of truer democracy. But interestingly, they're going to be up kind of against the oligarchs who are saying, whoa, 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 wait a minute, wait a minute. We've made all this money because of Putin, because of the system we have here. But it feels as if they also, I mean, not only are the vast majority of them already paying a price for this war, they're being punished for it, but it feels as if that's going to continue. Listen, world leaders are not going, once this is over, it's not like world leaders are going to go, okay, all right, Vlad, you're a really bad boy, but all is forgiven. These sanctions are going to go on like for infinity, all right? And so the retribution, the punishment is going to continue for decades. Okay. Okay. So that was our little journey into the unhinged. Let's shake it off. It's Friday. I'm sure the weekend is going to be filled with all kinds of recaps of the hearings. So, catch up where you can. Make sure you stay informed. If you can early vote or vote by mail, get that done. Vote down ballot. Do everything that you can. If there's, neighbors or people that you can take to vote, whatever it is, do what you are able to. And between now and the next one, which should be coming out next week, continue to do the shine your light energy circles for the US election. And as I said, the next one that's coming up next week is going to be about cooling down, cooling everything down, kind of smoothing out the hate and the anger and the rage so that the poll workers and people who are voting and the politicians are safe, and the energy around the election is not violent or volatile. All right, that's what I know today. Have a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous weekend. Take care, take some time to decompress. Until next time, take care. Be well. We'll see you really soon.